For years, one of my favorite things to do has been hunting. Waking up at 4 in the morning, hiking around a mountain for most of the day, and enjoying some snacks with my brother and my dad has always been something I look forward to. Hunting is a controversial topic. However, it's important to understand the benefits that it can have on the environment. Today, I will be going over how hunting helps to fund conservation efforts as well as helping to better the environment. First, we will go over my experiences while hunting, then we will go over how hunting can help conservation efforts. I remember my first time going hunting. We were going to Fairview for that year's elk hunt. I was not old enough to get a tag at the time, so I was just along for the ride. I remember riding our horses up the mountain with my dad, my brother, and my grandpa. Although I do not remember much else from that trip, I do remember hanging out with my grandpa, eating gummy worms and jerky, and having a good time. Even though we did not end up getting an elk on that trip, it still remains one of my favorite memories. To me, that trip represents what hunting is about. It's not about getting the biggest animal, it's about having a good time with family. Throughout the years, hunting has contributed to many priceless memories of mine. And to represent that, I have this deer shed that I found one year while hunting. Now that I have gone over my experiences while hunting, I will now talk about how hunting contributes to conservation efforts in the environment. There is a lot of controversy around hunting. Although this is not the topic of this speech, I think it is important to let people know the good that hunting does. I think that a lot of people misunderstand hunting due to only focusing on one part of it. This leads people to not look at things such as the purpose for why people hunt or the positive benefits of it. The first thing I will focus on is something called the duck stamp, which is basically a license for hunting waterfowl. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, quote, for every dollar spent on duck stamps, 98 cents go directly to purchase vital habitat or acquire conservation easements within the National Wildlife Refuge System, end quote. In other words, the majority of the money acquired from selling these licenses is used on conservation efforts. The same concept applies to sales of firearms. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, quote, through the federal aid in the Wildlife Restoration Act, more commonly known as the Pittman-Robertson Act, hunters fund a range of conservation programs. The act sends revenue from an excise tax on firearms, ammunition, and other related equipment to state wildlife agencies to be used for wildlife conservation projects, hunter education, and outdoor recreation access. End quote. Without these funds, conservation efforts could not function as they do today. In Andrew Moore's article titled The Role of Hunting in Wildlife Conservation Explained, he says, quote, following the success of the Duck Stamp Act and Pittman-Robertson Act, Congress passed several other laws to bolster conservation funding, including the Dingell-Johnson Sport Fish Restoration Act of 1950, which created an excise tax on fishing equipment, end quote. Similar to hunting, fishing is also used as a way to help fund conservation efforts. Hunting can also help to regulate animal populations. According to the Massachusetts Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, quote, hunting regulations conserve populations while allowing the public to utilize the natural resource. For some species, such as white-tailed deer, hunting serves as the primary way the population can be managed at a healthy level, end quote. If a population is unregulated, then it can cause problems for the environment. These three answers have helped me to understand the good aspects of hunting when it comes to the environment, even though there are differing opinions on the topic. I think that the main impact of accepting these answers would be making hunting a topic that is not so controversial. It's okay to have different opinions on it, however, it is also okay to realize that there are legitimate reasons for hunting to continue. I hope that this speech helps people to understand more about this topic. Whether you agree with hunting or not, hopefully I have shown how hunting can be a good thing. I hope that the topic of hunting can continue to be discussed, and that people are not so quick to judge those who participate in it. Hunting helps the environment by providing funding to conservation efforts. It also helps to keep animal populations in control. Whether you agree with hunting or you are opposed to it, I hope that this speech has helped people to understand part of why hunting is important.